yesterday we spent time going over if they give you the same objection multiple times in a row, how do you deal with that process? So if, let's say I say not interested, what's your process? Any objection right from the jump, typically you're going to stick to your structure. Agree, kill, close, look away. And that's 80 to 90% of all interactions, right? But what if I say to you, look, man, I told you I'm not interested. Okay, now I've said the same objection twice. How would you beef that up? What would you do to beef up the agree, kill, close? So again, I'm not interested 3 times in a row. The first time you get that objection, I'm not interested, I'm good, I'm busy, whatever. Doesn't matter the objection. You deal with it the normal way. Use your default, right? If you get the same objection 2 times in a row, then just beef it up a little bit. You're still doing the agree, kill, close, but when you do the kill part, you need more. So you may ask, well, where do I beef it up? You beef up the kill and you loop in the neighbors. Now, if you can get more specific and you can talk about a specific neighbor, then loop that neighbor in, drop names, third-party reference. This is where you do all of those things. On the third, I'm not interested, what do you do? Where do you go from there? Okay, so the first not interested is your agree, kill, close. The second not interested is your neighbors. And then what you just said was the third option. Now, this goes back to our meeting from a few days ago where you redirect, and when you find yourself in a no pattern, get out of that no pattern if you have the opportunity to do so. So if you've got a customer that you can get away with kind of changing the subject, building rapport, maybe they say they're not interested in a less aggressive tone on the third not interested. Well, that might be an opportunity to build rapport and get out of that no pattern. But if I'm like, no, I told you, stop coming to my door, I'm not interested, that's not there's no opportunity to build rapport there, right? Oh, by the way, I like your dog, right? I'm like, he's not hearing it, right? So you can't do this one if the customer's too aggressive. Now, in that scenario, so sorry to bother you, man, you're all set, have a great day, right? When you get the same objection on that third no, if it's a final no, a final non-interested, and there's no room left, well, you got to be careful. You don't want to piss people off. So you just have to kind of read the room and gauge that their interaction. Make sure that if they're speaking to you in an aggressive manner, you don't want to escalate that situation. So you want to leave them at least somewhat open to the possibility that we may come back. You don't want the next guy to knock on that door 2 months later and get cussed out because you pushed it too far. Follow this structure. I'm going to give you the same objection 3 times in a row. If you mess it up, that's okay. Just want to get guys practicing, to practice this process. So you do your intro, and I tell you,
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Well, you understand. Generate a copy of the bill. Takes 2 seconds. We'll be out.
Okay, so step 1, default, good job. So now I'm going to give you the same objection again.
I'm good, man. You guys come around like all the time. Like we're okay. Thank you, though.
We do come around. That's because rates in the area are high. Your neighbor Patty over there actually had a $600 bill. Just grab a copy of the bill and done.
Great job, by the way, because when you get that objection twice, it didn't work the first time. So it's not going to work the second time. Okay, now, if I had given you a completely different objection, like all of a sudden, now I'm busy, keep it simple, agree, kill, close. You don't need to add all that extra stuff. But I've given you the same objection now 2 times in a row. So if it didn't work the first time, you got to beef it up the second time. And we think beefing it up in the past may have meant this is when you start explaining and talking too much and asking all these questions. You don't need all that yet, right? If you can get away with less, then get away with less. And your example was more than this, but less than this. That's why it's step 2, and you did it perfectly. So really good job. So now I'll give it to you a third time.
Like I said, man, we're good. I'm good. We're okay.
It's a nice hat. Where'd you get it from?
Smart, because you have something that you can bring it up, and that's a great way to redirect. Random. There's a lot of structure in randomness, if that makes any sense at all.
Cass, I got it online. I got like 15 of them.
Yeah, grab a copy of the bill. Takes 2 seconds, and we'll get you marked out.
Okay, so you chose to go into rapport, and you chose it because I wasn't being too aggressive with you. I still left the door open a little bit. So you did a good job with the rapport and then looping it back. Once you loop it back in, and here's I think where the disconnect may be occasionally. If you're going to ask me a question, you have to loop it back in correctly. If you're going to be real with me and be authentic and just get to your point, you've got to loop it back in. It can't be too quick. And if you're going to build rapport, that was too quick. So, where'd you get the hat? Blah, blah, blah. We spent 30 seconds on the hat. Well, look, and here's an example of what I would do in this scenario. Well, look, man, before I go, like I know you said you're good, but you don't have to change or anything. Again, the only reason we come around is because a lot of the bills are going up. Did you know Patty? I might loop Patty back in because I already mentioned her. Do you know your neighbor? You don't? Okay, because a lot of the neighbors in this area, they've been complaining. A lot of the bills are going up, and your bill may be fine. The only reason we come around is because, well, we didn't mark you down last time, and I'll mark you down so we won't come back next time. Do you think you could just grab the bill so I can check it, I'll mark you down, then I'll get out of here? So what I think a lot of people will do is they'll accidentally combine all of these things. And by combining all of them, it won't work because it's too much. If you do one of them and you do it correctly, then you don't need 2 or 3, right? But if you do all 3, it's just too much. So you did a really good job following this process, but once you got down here, you build rapport. Yeah, let me just check the bill real quick. It's not enough, so you just need to beef that up just a little bit. And really, it's just a reiteration of step 2. So if I had to keep it as simple as possible, whenever you're in step 3 here, if you ask questions, the way you finalize that is revert back to step 2. If you are real, you explain some extra stuff. After you're done, revert back to step 2. If you're building rapport, again, revert back to step 2. Because you need to remind the customer why you're there and what you're doing if you took a minute to interrupt that no pattern, whether it's through rapport or asking questions. So, okay, well, if you don't mind me asking, who do you have, TXU? Yeah, go get the bill. That's not enough, right? So if I chose to ask a question and now I know who you have, I can't immediately say, go get the bill. Now I need, with the information I've just learned, I need to go back to step 2, 1, 2, 3. I need to go back to step 2. And with this new information, I can beef it up and ask for the bill. So I think you guys understand all of this, but I think the disconnect is once you're on this step right here, you close too quickly because you forget to loop it back, provide the reason again, and then ask for the bill again. But you did a really good job, by the way, so great job. Let's do another one. Any questions on the example that I just gave? I mean, that makes sense, right? You don't have any questions, do you? When do you say, that makes sense, right? Versus, do you have any questions? So I ask the same basically question, but I ask it 2 different ways in 2 different parts of the sales process. Does that help give you the answer better? No. Okay, who's got the answer to it? You got something to add?
More or less, it would be like after the tablet enrollment and the customer poses a question, and it's maybe a long answer, and we want to make sure they understand it. So you ask for verbal confirmation if they understand.
Yep.
If you get the no, you can go that way, but you're not forcing a yes.
So when you're selling, you always want to assume, and when you're explaining, you want to ask. So an assumptive pre-close would be, that makes sense, right? When I say it like that, I'm simply not giving you the option to say no to me, right? So I want you to say yes. That's why I end with what I want you to say. So if I say, you don't have any questions, right? I want you to say, no, I don't have any questions, because I'm asking you in a way that will yield me the response that I want. I'm also nodding my head, and if you're making eye contact with me, if I'm the leader in this interaction, you'll follow along, right? So I want the yes. When I'm selling, I want the assumptive yes. But if I'm explaining, and you say, well, wait a second, how does the exit fee reimbursement work? And I explain to you the exit fee reimbursement. Now I'm going to say, does that make sense? Do you have any questions? I'm not going to say, you don't have any questions, right? Because I don't want you to say yes if the answer is no. I want you to feel comfortable asking me your question if, let's say, you have one. If I'm positioning something to you guys and I actually genuinely want to know if you have any questions, I'm going to say, okay, does anybody have any questions? Now, what I'm going to do with my hand is I'm going to put my hand up like this. right? Because when I do this, I'm showing you this is okay. If you have a question, anybody have any questions? And what's so funny is if one of you had a question, you would raise your hand and ask your question because you're just going to mirror me and follow along. Now, if I don't want you to ask questions, I'm going to say, all right, we good? Nobody has any questions, right? By the way I'm wording that and my tone, I'm telling you I don't really want you to ask me a question, so don't ask me a question. I worded it in a way where I'm getting the response I prefer. But when I leave it open and say, okay, who's got questions? I know somebody has a question. Who's got a question? Right? I word that in a way where I want the questions. So if I ask a customer, hey, do you have any questions? You got to have at least one question. You got a question? Right? I'm giving them that open door to ask because if they don't ask, they may not understand. And if they don't understand, they may cancel. And when TXU calls that customer and tries to resell them, if they had a question, guess who they'll ask? TXU. And TXU will resell them, and then we may lose that deal. So I know we went off topic, but when you're selling, this is where you do your assumptive, okay? You don't have any questions, right? That makes sense, right? And then when you're explaining, this is where, any questions? Does everything make sense? Did what I just explained make sense? I'm asking in a way where I want your yes, I want your no. I don't care which one I get. I just want to make sure that you understand it. So just make sure that you're not bulldozing customers over here. You want to make sure that you give them the opportunity to ask if obviously they have a question. When I'm in an orientation class and I'm explaining something complicated, if I can see somebody's face going like, I'll say, that didn't make sense, did it? What's your question? Right? I'll give you that open door to ask, right? Because I can tell you don't understand what I just said. I can see in your face you're not getting it, and that's okay. You don't have to be embarrassed about it. I want you to understand. Like, this is our opportunity to go through XYZ process. So when you're with customers and you're explaining things, you can tell. You can tell when they're not listening. You can tell when they're not paying attention. They're not really getting it. You can tell when they're confused. You can tell with a customer that you're pissing them off the more you talk, right? Like, you can really kind of pick up on stuff like that. I'll even interrupt myself occasionally where if I'm in like the intro or an objection and somebody's looking at me with this stare like they're angry, I'll say, hey, I work for Reliant, blah, blah, blah. In the middle of the intro, I'll say, boy, you're not having a good day, are you? Because you've given me this look like you're ready to punch me in the face. You mad at me or something? I have said that dozens of times. And one of two things is going to happen. They're either going to laugh and I'm good. I've broken that pattern, and now I have you open-minded now. Or that's going to piss you off, and I'm going to make your day worse, and you're going to be like, dude, get the hell out of here, right? Like, I'm not playing these games, right? And you may get that. But you're going to get that anyway. I'm just speeding up the no so I don't have to deal with it later. So I would rather interrupt that bad mood or that no pattern by making a joke. When you come out and you look like you're about to kill me, like Chris does now, right? When you look like you're about to kill me, I might say, I know you're not. I might say, you're not having a good day, are you? Man, am I making it worse?
Yes.
I had a customer the other day. She answered the door like this, just mean mucking me the second she opened the door. I didn't even do my intro. I said, wow. I said, this is how we're going to begin? I knock on your door, I'm all happy-go-lucky and cheery. You look like you're going to slap me across the face. She just burst out laughing, thought it was the funniest thing in the world, and the interaction was better as a result of it. Turns out she already had Reliant, whatever. But that's that's a good example of most people wouldn't have gotten past that tough exterior because she's expecting a salesperson and she got a salesperson. Well, with me, she was expecting a salesperson and she got whatever that is. She got that version of me. She got me, actually. She got the more authentic, real version of me. And by interrupting that pattern, I was able to get her to be more open-minded. And if you do that and you practice that more often than not, you'll get more deals because not all of them are going to have Reliant. And if she had TXU, she'd have been more open-minded. One more scenario, actually, before we move into this or finish this. The other day, I got a deal. The woman cussed me out 3 weeks ago. So I knocked on her door. She cussed me out. I then signed up her mom. Same day, 5 minutes later. She cusses me out. I go sign up her mom. Right? She comes up to the interaction while I'm signing up her mom. I didn't want to lose the deal, so I didn't really pay her much attention. She had to borrow her mom's phone or something. She goes back. So I'm back in this area again the other day, and I knock on her door again after she had cussed me out. And when I knocked on her door, she treated me like shit again because she must not have remembered me, or she did, and that's why she treated me like shit. So when I knocked on her door, I said, whoa, before you treat me like shit, because I know you cussed me out 2 weeks ago. Do you remember I'm the one that signed up your mom, right? And she was like, oh, yeah. Her whole guard was down. She was like, yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about you. I said, yeah, you let me have it last time I was here. But I didn't want to bother you because you were busy. But I signed up your mom. You know, I just wanted to come back. I was hoping that you would remember me and you weren't going to beat me up. But can I just ask, who do you have for electric? You know, your mom's got Reliant now. Total off book, right? Like I couldn't do my normal intro. And that only worked because I remembered the interaction. But the point is that customer probably would have cussed all of you out like she did me. But if we're able to interrupt that pattern for whatever reason, because we remember the experience or because of the notes on Sales Rabbit or simply because we notice or identify something that we can use as a pattern interruption, that's how powerful those interruptions are. She didn't remember me as soon as I knocked on the door. I had to remind her by doing something different. I had to change my approach with that customer because of the way she approached me. Now, if you can do that in real time, forget about having the experience before, just pay attention to the surroundings, right? Like if you have a no soliciting sign and a welcome mat, you better knock on that door. And when the customer says, didn't you see my sign? I would say, hell yeah, I saw your no soliciting sign, but then you got a welcome mat right here. It's confusing. I didn't know what to do. Are you welcoming me or are you telling me to F off? Like, which one is it? That customer, if they have any sense of humor, will think that's pretty funny. I think it's pretty funny, right? And I'll get a kick out of my own stupid jokes when I approach a customer, and I might make a joke that they don't think is funny. They'll look at me like you're an idiot, and then I'll say to them, oh, you didn't think that was funny? I thought it was pretty funny. You no? Okay. And then I'll be all weird and awkward on purpose about it. There are times where I'm weird and awkward on purpose because it's like a strategy. Like you're confused on purpose. Sometimes I'm awkward on purpose. Oh, you didn't think that was funny? Well, most people laugh at that joke. Well, anyway, I work for Reliant. Do you care? You just want me to go? Well, before I go, real quick, before I get out of here, you're not having a good day? You don't look like you're having a good day. All right, well, real quick, before you throw me out of here, I'll do those things because I don't care, right? I'm not being unprofessional. I'm trying to do something different. And by being different, being me, and you all have the ability to do versions of this, you're able to get the real version of them out. Because again, when a customer opens the door, you're not getting the real customer. And here's a really good example. When you go through your interview process, we don't get the real you. We don't get the real you, right? We get the professional version. Not that you're not professional later on. You're all professional, right? But we get whatever version of you that you put on to be hired, right? We get whatever version of you that you give off in your, I don't know you, you don't know me. Let me just make sure that, I'm professional and I'm polite and I'm courteous. Let me make sure I say all the right things. Maybe I'm nervous or, whatever version of you we get. But after some time, the more comfortable version of you comes out. And that's not a bad thing. It's just a more authentic version of you. Well, if that makes sense to you, what I just said, which it should, because you all are a little different after interviews, after orientation, 2 months, 6 months later, right? Well, your customer isn't giving you the real version of you either. So when you knock a door, you're getting a fake version of them, and it's your job to get the real version of them out pretty quickly. And in order to do that, you may not be able to approach these people the same way. Yeah, sure, after the introduction, but what do you do first? If you have the opportunity to interrupt that expectation of salesperson, 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 well, that might help you guys get better interactions. Let's do one more of these and then we'll bounce. You want to go? All right. So again, back to what we were originally talking about. You get the same objection 3 times in a row. Boom, boom, boom. You get the rest.
I'm not interested.
Oh, it's all right, boss. You ain't got to switch nothing. We're just checking the programs. Go grab a quick copy of the light bill. I'll march you down. I'll be out of here.
Good. Remember structure, agree, kill, close.
Yeah, look, I told you, bro. Like, I'm good. I'm not interested.
Look, a lot of your neighbors right now, they overcharging on their electric right now. So all we're doing is just checking, making sure you're good. Go grab a quick copy. Oh, sorry.
No, that was okay. You looped in the neighbors, you beefed it up a little bit. You could have beefed up a little bit more. Sense of urgency, like Chris's first answer was, I could feel the urgency. I could feel the importance in his tone. So if you're gonna use less words, I need more tone, right? But if you're gonna use less tone, then I need more words, right? So either way. So you needed more words or you needed more tone in that scenario. I need to feel that this is important. If I don't feel it, I need to hear that it's important, right? Again, that's an important factor for some of you, right? I either need to hear it or I need to feel it. You can't be missing both of those. I need one or the other. All right, look, I'm not interested, bro. This is round 2. I told you, this is round 2.
I told you, I'm good. We're not interested.
Right, y'all ain't gotta be interested, but a lot of your neighbors been overpaying on the electric, and that's exactly why we got sent out to this street specifically. I just need to check a quick copy of your light bill. Let's be sure you're good. Mark you down, I'll be out of here.
Which you don't understand. I'm sick and tired of you guys coming around. I'm not interested. I want you to take me off your list.
Damn. Taking me off the list is crazy. I don't know.
Well, what would you do in that scenario? You'd walk away, right? And that might be the right answer, honestly. And it really depends on how serious I am when I say that. And in this regard, maybe that would be the correct answer. Because if you got me to that point, the next thing out of my mouth might be something worse, or you may piss me off. And it really depends. In that scenario, I think it would be safe to, okay, you're so sorry, man, I don't mean to bother you. You know, you're all good. Take me off your list is okay, no problem, I'm dropping a do not knock pin. That's usually when I'll use those pins.
Are you not listening? It's like,
yeah, which you ain't listening to me? Right, yeah, because I've had that before too. Did y'all have a different answer? Okay, all right, so.
To that?
Yeah, if I said to you, what are you not listening? You don't understand English? I'm telling you, I'm not interested. Take me off your list.
I would have either done that or I would have been like, oh, I'm sorry, you're not having a good day, are you?
Would you do that with my tone?
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry if I did something, but a lot of the neighbors, that's the only reason why I'm here is because a lot of neighbors have been complaining about the high rates.
Yep.
I'm just making sure that you don't beat me up. Just grab a cool copy of the bill.
Yep.
I'll mark you down. Then you're safe and good to go.
And that works. If you can get away with it, the way you say that, the body language, yeah, and I'm out of here, like that all makes a big difference. Now, if you're just standing here like this, you're not moving, there's no real tone, you're just kind of talking to them or you're just talking at them, that, won't work. But if you do it the right way, obviously it'll work.
And if they were to give me it again, I would have been like, all right.
You got me. Fine. No problem.
First thing.
But before I go, though, right? Yeah, yeah, exactly, right. See, my rule is I'll probably go, like what you just said, I'll probably do 4 or 5. And 4 or 5 is where I'll get the final no, because I'll incorporate that on step 3. And then, fine, you got me, I'll never come back. But before I go, though, and that might be step 4, and then 5 is like the final no. It really depends. Let's finish it so you can finish yours, and then we'll be done. So I won't be as aggressive with you. It's funny because I circle so much shit on here that by the end of the meeting, no one's got a fucking clue what I wrote on the board. Confusing.
Like neighbors.
What?
Like neighbors.
Yes, neighbors. All right. And if I post this video and people make fun of me for spelling this incorrectly, fuck them. Because I can spell it if I wanted to.
Write it down. Mama started. I'll be the first.
I mean, tell them we officially added it to the dictionary. They give you more ratings on this.
Hey.
What? You know, Webster or whatever.
There you go.
Did I spell it correctly?
You did.
Now cross it off.
Exactly. See, I told you I could spell it correctly. All right.
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm not interested.
That's all right. You ain't got to switch nothing. I just got to mark you off. Go grab a quick copy of the bill.
Yeah, we're good, dude. We're good. I appreciate it, though, but we're okay.
Yeah, I completely understand, but just like the rest of your neighbors, they've been telling me they good, but I've been looking at their bills and they're not. I just got to make sure you're all right. Mark you down on here and I'll be gone. Go grab a quick copy.
Good answer. And it also flows. You don't want it to seem like it's combative. So that flowed. It was really good.
Look, dude, like, you guys come around all the time. I think I talk to, like, one of your guys, like, every 3 months. I tell them all the same thing. Like, we're good. I'm not switching. I'm happy with the company I have.
You ever shown them a bill, though? Because that's probably the reason why we keep coming around. Like, a lot of your neighbors, like I said, they're getting put on some specialties that are not really working for them and some discounts that are pretty bad with the prices that are being put. We just come out here to make sure that's not happening to you. Go grab a quick copy of the bill. I'll mark you down and I'll make sure we won't come back here for a good time.
So you took your step 2, you beefed it up maybe a little extra, and you elaborated on maybe the specialty plans, people not using the plans correctly, the pricing and what have you. So that was okay, that was good. Now, will it work? We don't really know, right? You have to go through these options, you have to do it consistently. when you guys are, and we'll kind of end with this, when you guys are testing something out, if it doesn't work 5 times, that doesn't mean it's never going to work, right? Like your hook, if your hook works 3 times a day, you're making thousands of dollars a week. So keep that in mind. You only need some of these things to work a few times. If you test something and it doesn't work, an objection or a process or whatever it is, if it doesn't work once or twice, don't give up on it. Some of this stuff, it requires time, and it requires consistency, and it requires fine-tuning and refining these processes. Did you hand up?
Yeah. You cannot succeed without failure.
You cannot succeed without failure. And on that note, Jesus loves you.